Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this panel of students who have done it. My name is Grace Nelson. I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes. I'm joined here by some incredible panelists. We've got Nyomi Rose, Benedicta Asante, Mark Hennys, and the lovely Connor Hourigan. So the next 30 minutes, we're really just going to have a really nice discussion about these students who have gone from university into the event industry. So we're going to start off by a brief introduction of everyone, if that's okay. So I'll start with you, Connor. You want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Connor. I graduated this year from Falmouth University of the Creative Events Management course, and I'm one of the 4 project coordinators at EventGrads.
Great. And Mark, you want to go next?
Hi everyone, so my name is Mark. I graduated in 2018 with a first class honours degree in International Events Management, and that was from Glasgow, Caledonian University. I spent time volunteering at events and festivals up and down the country. And then as soon as I graduated, I went on to secure a graduate position within Visit Scotland, which is Scotland's national tourism organisation, working within the events department there. Distributing funding and lots of different interesting stuff. I've been also doing some freelance work with the likes of Underbelly on Edinburgh's Hogmanay, and also around the UK on some drive-in events that are happening. And this year I've been working as well on Scotland's largest outdoor event, which is the Royal Highland Show. And I decided to do a master's this year as well in Arts Festival and Cultural Management too.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And Benedicta?
Hi everyone, I'm Benedicta. So I'm 24 years old. I recently graduated from the University of Hertfordshire in Business and Events Management. I graduated with first class. I've worked in events since I was about 16, working on quite a few different events across the UK, mainly in London. And I am looking to do a master's next year in public and social communication.
Brilliant. And Nyomi?
Hi everybody, so I'm Nyomi Rose. I'm final events management student at Manchester Metropolitan University, and alongside that I kind of started my actual event prof journey when lockdown first happened, way back when in April, March, and I started using social media to build my presence, and I've been able to speak at events, not only just in the UK for event professionals, but globally as well. And then I've also started my own side hustle, which is a project called What Nyomi Does, where I help people bridge the digital divide and mostly help students understand the importance of social media in leveraging themselves as a credible event professional. So like I said, I use social media, so I use LinkedIn and Instagram. I go by the name What Nyomi Does, which is usually how a lot of people refer to me as, and I've been able to specialise in the digital event space as well during this time. So that's a little bit about me.
Brilliant. Thank you all so much. And just a bit about me, if anyone's not sure, my name is Grace. I'm a 2019 graduate from Manchester Metropolitan with a degree in event management. I undertook a placement year over in the US as an events and hospitality internship, and have worked on B2B events in London as an events marketing coordinator. I'm currently finishing an internship with ManMe as a graduate event officer, and I'm also one of the project coordinators of EventGrads as well. So now we've all got to know each other a bit better, I thought I'd dive into some questions. So just so everyone knows, towards the end, about 10 minutes, we'll get some questions answered from our lovely audience, just so we have some time to answer that. So I'll jump right in. And Nyomi, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. So in your opinion, do you believe that leveraging social media platforms can really increase the chances of securing a job role? Do you feel this has worked for you? What has your experience been with this?
Yeah, so I always say to everybody, I can't stress enough how important social media is in building your presence in the event space. Not everybody always has to do an Instagram account, with events related, but I always suggest that students need to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a powerful platform to connect with industry professionals. You can share your own content, and it's such a great platform. All the features that are on there are aimed at helping you prosper in whatever career you want to go into. So I always suggest everybody, please set up your LinkedIn account, go through everything that LinkedIn suggests you to do. It always has little tabs saying, finish this section of a profile, go and finish that section. Because once you complete it, then everybody, all the world is able to go and look through your profile and find out who you are. But in terms of my personal journey, social media has been instrumental. I know that if I didn't start using Instagram and didn't start using LinkedIn, I know I wouldn't be talking on this panel. I know I wouldn't be able to have all the opportunities I've been able to get. So I always suggest people to optimize social media. Not just open up an account, but use every single function. There's a reason they have the messaging function on there. It's for you to connect with people. There's a reason they have the section where you post. It's so that you can share your ideas and your thoughts. Because sometimes we usually get a bit of imposter syndrome and think, oh, why did anybody want to listen to me? You'd be surprised at the amount of people who want to hear your perspective and what you've learned. Everybody wants to learn. So please use social media. And I think a lot of other people can really, suggest that that's what you do. And like the lady before who was talking about LinkedIn, LinkedIn is the go-to platform for all students. So make sure you create a platform. Rant over.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. There were some really good insights. And Benedicta, what's your experience been with leveraging social media? Do you feel like it really can increase job security?
So I actually started a blog called the Millennial Event Manager. So that's actually my Instagram name. And that was probably at the beginning of COVID. I was still doing my degree. I was doing my degree. And then I went on to start Events 101, and both of those platforms on Instagram have actually opened up a whole world of events that I didn't even know existed. So bearing in mind, as I said, I started doing events when I was 16. I didn't really know industry professionals. And I was making a joke the other day with Miriam that it's like a gold mine once you enter social media. You meet so many different professionals who are willing to, help you get or help you leverage your business, or sharing your posts and things that kind of put you on a platform that others can recognize. And through that, I feel like if I was to go and apply for a job or speak to a company now, they can see a whole plethora of things that I have done, and I've just used social media as my portfolio rather than creating one on like Adobe and something like that. It just takes too long.
Brilliant. No, I totally agree. Connor, do you have any thoughts on this? Any previous experiences?
I do. So I actually have a bit of a confession. I'm a social media novice. Absolutely terrifies me, the prospects of using Instagram and having my life be out there. I use it as a networking tool. So that's how I got part of EventGrads. That's why I use my LinkedIn as. It's the private messaging function suits me perfectly, and that's what I use it for. But I think in regards to social media, obviously a lot of people find things work for them in different ways, and that's a big part of it. Is, you have a skill set that you need to showcase, and use that skill set showcasing the best way you can. If that's a visual medium such as Instagram, go ahead and do that. Set up a really wonderful Instagram. If you want to if you have a really good communication network, then message people directly and talk to them that way. If whatever showcases you the best way, I think is the best way you can use social media, and that's been my experience with it anyway.
I love that. I really like that. Thank you, Connor. And Mark, have you got anything to finalize on this question?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to echo what everyone said. I think LinkedIn is key for me. I think I've not kind of pursued the Instagram route, but for me, LinkedIn has been extremely successful. I've built up lots of connections with people that I want to work with in the future, and I've also secured connections with organizations that I've worked for in the past as well. And I think that's kind of the best bit of advice that I can give anyone is, follow the types of organizations that you want to work for, because employers can actually see that on your LinkedIn as well. They can see the types of organizations that you want to follow and that you want to actually work for. And I think as well, if you're doing any kind of voluntary or internships or even paid work as well, I think it's important that you follow up with that connection you've made there via LinkedIn to kind of cement that relationship. And then also, if possible, ask if they can give you a LinkedIn recommendation. That's worked for me, and that's kind of made my profile credible in the sense that, once you've done a bit of work for someone, you can then ask them for a LinkedIn recommendation. That's a sort of guide and a tool for employers to look at sort of references as well. And I think that's key.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. So we're going to move on to our second question. And Benedict, I'm going to start with you, if that's all right. For you, if you have or if you haven't, what do you feel has been your biggest struggle in terms of securing work experience? Have there been any barriers for you, pre-COVID, during COVID? What's your experience with that?
I would start with, when I started university, I did not know where to look. I think that's every student's biggest issue. So you go in thinking, okay, maybe when I get to second year, I want to do a placement year, and then I'll, go back into third year to do my degree, which was not my reality at all. When I got to second year and they were saying, apply for placements, there's 1,000 students across the UK applying for that one role. I'll use something like L'Oreal, for example. Everybody that I knew applied for that events placement, and obviously it's only for, I think, 2 students. So whereas my interest did lie in beauty and things like that, I had to kind of expand my knowledge of the actual industry. So that was kind of how I overcame that barrier. I had to start digging. I had to look at, okay, if I'm an events professional, what sectors can I actually work in? Because I didn't know. And I think, like many students online today, that's one of the biggest struggles. You never know where to look. So, which is kind of why what kind of prompted me as well to start Events 101, because I wanted everyone to know what sectors are out there, what jobs can they get, how do they get to those jobs, because I had no clue. And I think it's really important that as a student online today, if you are looking for work experience, start digging, because you may not know that you could work in finance as an event professional. They do hire in-house events people. I didn't know. And a second way I overcame that barrier was to not apply for placements. So online, you see placement, you see graduate, something like that. Don't apply for those. I went for, how I ended up getting work experience was actually going for a contract role. So in our summer holidays, which is about 6 months, they usually, around that time, they start hiring contractors. So luckily for me, I had previous work experience, which allowed me to actually get the role. But there are sometimes entry-level contract roles which are about 6 months, 7 months, and that's your whole summer holiday. So why not go for that as well?
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Connor, what about you? Have you ever had a struggle securing a work placement? What advice would you give our viewers right now?
So my struggle has always been time. I have, alongside my uni experience, worked full-time. Now I work full-time. It's always been trying to maximize my time alongside being able to pay the bills. So in order to do that, I've tried to sort of streamline the process. So alongside my university experience, I worked in a very small game shop in the middle of Truro. And somewhere between my first and second year, I got the courage up and I knocked on the door. I was like, look, we don't do any events or marketing. I'm going to do them for you. And yeah, it's not glamorous, it's not amazing, but it really sort of solidified my passion of going, this is my project.
That is glamorous.
I love that. I really
I love that.
I think, finding transferable skills in any industry is a key thing. And, you might be working a little shop job, but who knows, talk to your manager. They might have some window displays, they might have a little project they want you to run. It's all about leveling yourself up. You might not feel like you're in the event industry, but there's not one way into any industry. You don't know what's going to lead you into it. You don't have to go university, then internship, then placement, then event coordinator. It doesn't necessarily work like that. So find the way that suits you. And if that's you banging on your boss's door until they finally let you do an event, you do that.
Lovely. Brilliant. Thank you. And Mark and Nyomi, have you got any stories to share with us? Any advice with the work experience?
Yeah. Do you want to go, Mark?
Yeah, I can speak. So I think for me, one of the kind of key things that stuck out when I applied for my graduate position was that, well, my manager told me this. In fact, he said that, there's lots of people who have the kind of same CVs because universities often give out the same opportunities to the students. So what I found in kind of second and third year, and my biggest struggle, I suppose, was to kind of diversify my CV. So in sort of second, third year, I was emailing around festivals and events that I wanted to work for in a kind of voluntary capacity or an internship. And, it was a struggle, and I managed to kind of secure a few of those. But to kind of add that to my CV, I was able to kind of stand out from a crowded market of CVs that look very similar. And that's kind of what I think is, the best kind of advice for me to give to anyone who's looking to kind of diversify their CV in terms of experience. Because I think, like you might leave university with the same CV as your friend or your colleague. So it's really important that you get in touch with organizations that you want to work for in order to.
Oh no.
Okay, Nyomi, did you want to just quickly touch upon this topic about work experience? Sorry, Mark, I think we lost you there for a bit.
Yeah, so for me with work experience, what I did in my second year of studies, I volunteered for everything. Everything at university sent over to me, I volunteered for. I went and did it, even if it was something I didn't really necessarily want to do. I was able to get that experience. Like, oh, actually, I'm not going to do that again. Or, oh, actually, I quite enjoyed this aspect of it. But what I would also say is use your student union. Every university or even every platform, you can always look on there. They've always got different opportunities that are going, for you to go and help out smaller charities or grassroots businesses with certain projects. So I always say that's something that's really good. Also, optimizing search engines, and what I mean by that is, Eventbrite. That is the top place to go for anything events related. And if you go and have a look through all of those events that are on that search engine, and you find out, oh, I really like this event, find out who the organizer is and send them an email. It's basically like what Connor did, where you're knocking on the door, but you're virtually, knocking there, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to build yourself up. My actual biggest barrier was building my confidence. I don't think I would have been able to do things like this 6-7 months ago because I didn't have that sort of confidence. But through doing work experience, through getting yourself out there, making yourself do things that sometimes you don't really want to do that are out your comfort zone, that's the best thing you can do. But always just try and work on yourself. Career development is always incredible, but make sure you're reading, how you can, become a better you, and reading books, podcasts, those sort of things I always think are really helpful, in terms of going out there and looking for work experience, confidence and resilience.
Lovely, thank you all so much. Just to remind the audience, if you have any questions for our panelists, please pop them in the Q&A. We will have some time at the end for everyone to get their questions answered. So my first question would be, if you could go back to your first year self at university, what advice would you give yourself? Shall we start with Nyomi? Let's start with you.
Yeah, so my first year experience, it was actually not a very good year for me whatsoever. I wasn't a very good uni student in the sense that I wasn't in the right mindset. So what I would say to my younger self, or to the person who was in first year, is make sure that you were in a right crowd of people. Your people influence you. So if you're around people that aren't as motivated as you, that aren't empowering you to go out and achieve your dreams, ditch them. Actually, just ditch them. And that's the same, even if you're working with anybody in groups, you've got to focus on you, because at the end of the day, it's only going to be you who's going to get from A to B. Nobody else is going to help you do that. So if people are negative in your life, get them out and focus on building yourself up and achieving your dreams. But that's what I would say to my younger self. I don't know if anybody else had that experience at uni as well.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest. I would say the people that are around you are very, important. I think on my first week, and we had to kind of share what our goals were, and that's kind of how I guess I made friends, because I was like, oh, you're kind of similar, you kind of want to keep something similar to me. So when we had like group work and things, even though they say, oh, work with different people and etc., I did try it for the first couple of weeks, but then I realized, not to be very biased, but it didn't really work, because not everyone was motivated with you, not everyone wants to achieve the same things with you. So I definitely agree with what Naomi has said. I would also add to that is try everything. I think Naomi said that as well. Try everything. Try, if there's an event going on, volunteer. If there's work experience happening outside, go for it. Even if your friend's having a birthday and they ask you to plan it, do it, because you get content. And I think content is very, very important. It's something that I look back now and I wish I had more of, because I'll be able to showcase a lot more of what I can do, and also learn about your strengths. As a event professional, you don't have to be able to do everything. You might be good at logistics, or you may not necessarily be good at admin, or you might be good at, decorations and whatever. So I think it's really, really important that you hone in on what your strengths are and work on those rather than focusing on what you're not good at.
Yeah, I think as well, you were a bit muffed there as well, Benedicta. So I don't know if your arm was over the the mic or the laptop or something.
I have no clue what is going on to my laptop.
There you go. That you're perfect.
All right. Well, I've noticed actually we do have, I'm just thinking, considering time, we do have a few questions in the Q&A, if that's all right. We might just fire them off. So we got a question from Jed. He says, besides LinkedIn, do you think online portfolios are also very important? Do you have any tips for creating a good standing out events manager portfolio? Would anyone like to take that one?
Yeah, I can take the first one. Yeah, so I think just to kind of to focus away from Instagram, I think if we're talking about LinkedIn, that's kind of where my expertise lies, is definitely if you want to kind of build a digital portfolio on your LinkedIn, start to kind of regularly post and make sure you kind of post pictures as well of that. And what you can actually do is you can start to pin posts to your featured posts. And that sort of stems your kind of, I suppose it's a kind of, it's a guide to having a digital portfolio of kind of events that you've worked on. But when people kind of connect with you, they can see, at first glance, the kind of posts that you've been posting, and followed by a series of pictures and kind of information that you're sharing with regards to the experience you had. So I think that's definitely a kind of great and easy way to kind of build a digital portfolio via LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Does anyone else have any points to touch up on that one?
Yeah, I just echo that exactly. Optimize all those different features that are on LinkedIn. But what I would also say is that when you are creating your content, that you're being creative, that you're thinking, actually, what do I enjoy sharing? What is actually my passion? What are my whys? What are my interests? And then share that type of content. I see a lot of people try and, replicate what other people are or try and do similar things. But if you focus on what you're going to do, you're going to build that authentic engagement with all of the people you follow. So that's how I would build a digital portfolio, especially on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Naomi. We've got Rhiannon, and she is asking, what would you guys recommend doing to gain experience right now? She feels that because there's not a lot of places there's not a lot of opportunities right now. So how can we gain experience during this time, would you say?
One thing that worked for me, even pre-COVID, is put on your own events. What's stopping you? Nothing. If you want to talk about, I don't know, female empowerment, go for it. Create something that maybe you and your friends can attend. Use a platform or use Zoom. There's some things that are free out there for you to use. Put on your own events if you can't get experience, because it is an experience in a way, and that's kind of what I did, and it worked for me.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Benedicta. Have you got something to add?
Yeah, I just think exactly what Benedicta said. You are all event managers. Like the minute you decide to follow this path, you become an event manager. You don't have to be actively practicing to be considered one. So just because, I think Benedict said about birthday parties and such, if you're doing that, that's an event. Everything you do is experience. Everything you got, like I said earlier, shop job, it doesn't have to be in a field with a band and 1,000 people attending to be an event. Whatever you put on, whatever you want to be, that is experience, and you can take away from everything. I know it's not the best advice for if you want to be in a wedding situation or industry specific, but take what you want from each experience. You will find it, and you will be better for your events afterwards.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Yeah, and
yeah.
And can I just quickly add on to that as well? And that's kind of how I started getting experience. I did beginning of lockdown, I did my How Nyomi parties, which is where I'd go live on Instagram and I'd do a live cocktail session, I'd do live canapé making, and then making some decor live. And I did that a lot at the beginning of my sort of journey, and then I do different things on personal and career development. So there's lots of different branches that you can go off if you do want to create your event. But what I would also say is to not be overwhelmed at the moment with you not getting a placement, or if there's not any jobs out there. We all know that the job market is quite tight at the moment, so I'd just say focus on building your skills, building that skill set. So when you do go out and you can start looking, you've already got all that practice behind of you, and build your platform before. So yeah, that's my little piece as well.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Leo, and he's asking if you guys spent time doing any extra qualifications outside of university. Mark, do you want to, if anyone hasn't, do you have a point on that, or if anyone does?
Well, at my uni in final year, we had the option to do a CIM as part of, so the Chartered Institute of Marketing get accredited as part of our course. And I know some unis across the UK often offer that in addition to maybe one of your modules or something like that. And I would always say go for it. It's sometimes a bit of an extra cost. I think we had to pay like £50 or £100 extra. It is an extra cost, but I would always say put yourself forward for it if you can. Apply for it, and online right now, I think even CVent, I saw one of our interns, Sharma, she took a CVent course. Many organizations are offering online courses for free now. LinkedIn Learning, if your uni offers LinkedIn Learning, do it. Just little things that are going to just increase your profile.
Amazing.
We did first aid, and I'd recommend it to anyone. If you can get a bunch of your uni friends or course-mates to pitch it to your professors, then just having the knowledge that you can help save a life at an event, it's reassuring, to say the least.
I think as well, an obvious one as well is to consider doing a master's as well. I think that's what I decided to this year. You might be coming to the end of your studies in terms of your undergrad just now, but think about where you want to be in the future and how you get there, and think about what kind of master's opportunities are out there that you could maybe do in future to align with what you want to do within the events and festivals industry.
Lovely.
Yeah. Can I just quickly add on to that as well? But I definitely say, like what Mark said, masters is always a good thing. For example, it doesn't need to necessarily be events management all the time. It can be something different. For example, I'm going to do computer science in my masters to help with the sort of tech side of the event space as well. But in terms of skill sets, I actually did a TikTok the other week about different courses that you can do. As an events management student, you've got the Virtual Events Institute, C-Event, and the Event Academy. And then you have the wonderful Mark Breen, who also from Safe Events, who does a load of webinars, a load of training sessions. So make sure you use industry peers as well, because they'll have training sessions and things that you can learn from as well. That's me done.
Thank you. I think we have time for just one more question. So for those whose questions didn't get answered, unfortunately, feel free to reach out to our panelists if you need your question answered. I'm sure they'd be happy to hear from you. So we have a question, last one from Eden, and he asks, how did you juggle uni work and gaining event experience? What advice do you have? If anyone wants to jump in, go for it.
Yeah, I don't mind going for that one because I'm still currently at university, so I'm bouncing absolutely everything. But what I would say is time block. So for example, on Tuesdays, that's when I have my lectures. And so Tuesdays, I'm solely focusing on university. So switch your days up. Also, if you have assignments due in, break them down into different segments. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, I've got a 2,000 word assignment due in 2 weeks, break it up into 500 words and then achieve that every single week. So just make it into smaller tasks, figure out what days you want to achieve stuff and have a weekly goal set so you can keep on moving. That's what I would say.
I would add to that what Naomi said, kind of maybe make it a bit clearer. So for me, what I did was, say for Monday, or in fact Tuesdays was our lecture days. From Tuesday 9 a.m. till maybe 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, that's my uni time. Yeah, my laptop is overheating. Am I muffled still?
A little bit, but we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my laptop's over here. But so on the Tuesday, 7 p.m., that's when I will go home from the library at uni. And then if I have work, for example, those of you that do work, I would make sure that work is maybe on a Wednesday morning. So now I know that when I get back from work in the evening, I have time to rest and I can do it maybe like 300 words of some uni work or read a book somewhere. And just blocking it out that way, I think, is a bit more specific to what you want to do. And writing things out at the beginning of term is the best advice I would give anybody, because it helps you to kind of balance your time.
Lovely. Well, thank you all so much. That's all we have time for, I'm afraid. But thank you all for joining me, and I hope those who are watching have gained some really good advice and tips from these incredible panelists. So we now have a break until 3 p.m. and we will be back for CV writing, workshop number 2, hosted by the lovely Nyomi Hollis. So we'll see you then. But thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Thank you for hosting, Grace.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.